Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Jordan Brennan. We have a lot to get into tonight. There's a lot going on across the country, but if you look behind me, you can see that there's not that much going on at Doak. You can see all those clouds that we had earlier from the showers are starting to move out. So right now we have a few showers, 65, so things are starting to cool down a little bit after we saw that rain earlier. So if you look on the radar, you can again see that that rain is starting to move out of the area, and we're starting to get a little bit clearer conditions everywhere now that those showers are starting to finish. As we head into tonight, it's going to be cooling off a lot. So once we saw that front come through, we could see that the temperatures were dropping a lot more in our lows. So we're going to see 49, and then tomorrow we're going to see it cool down a little bit, so 71. And then looking forward to the rest of the show, we're going to talk about the rain that we had today, a cool down coming, and your Thursday sportscast, all that and more on FSU Weather.
Welcome to your Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Priscilla Vijalta.
And I'm student meteorologist Ayana Clemens, and this Thursday's show is exciting. We've got a lot going on today, and all across the country, like Jordan was talking about. Do you have any Valentine's Day plans?
I will be back here in the studio for tomorrow's very special Valentine's Day show.
Exciting. Great.
Yeah.
So she'll be on the show tomorrow.
Yes, and then potentially doing some poetry reading.
Oh,
so
fun.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow if you guys want to hear any of that. But
yeah.
That's fun, yeah. I don't really have many plans. I feel like a lot of people have been trying to get reservations. It's been booked.
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of people around campus.
Very busy,
yeah.
very busy. But now I think we're going to send it back to Matthew with the local.
Yeah, if we look outside at Doak Campbell Stadium, you can see those clouds have been hovering around as the rain has not been going away today, as it has been very rainy all day, clouds looming. You can see those clouds will push through overnight and into Friday, but those clouds will persist into tomorrow in the morning. But look at this, comes back a lot of clouds in the region for tomorrow night. So if you are going outside for your Valentine's Day plans, be aware it will be very cloudy, so maybe not the best night to stargaze, or just if you're doing any plans that involve the sky, may not be the best night for that. But outside you can see 64, 65, in those mid-60s for the most part. Overall, our dew point's sitting a little bit high. We have 61 here in Tallahassee, some areas getting as high as 64, so a little muggy. A lot of people like it more dry this time of year, but look at this, 74, cooled off much more today. As we were in the 80s earlier this week, at one point you can see our average, we're a little bit higher than we want to be, but our low is much higher than most people would expect. You can see tonight, there might be some rain that'll push through tonight, but for the most part, we've kind of ringed out most of those showers. You can see overnight 45 for a lot of these regions, in the 40s, so a lot colder for those people trying to get in maybe that late night run. But in Monticello, some showers will be pushing through a lot in our eastern regions for the most part, but here in Tallahassee, it'll be some light rain overall. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, temps getting into the 70s for the most part with a little bit of a breeze out of the east. But if you are trying to enjoy tomorrow, there may not be a lot of sun overall, but go hit Landis. It'll still be a great day to enjoy it before those nighttime plans for Valentine's Day. And for the day planner tomorrow, you can see we're going to be in the 60s by noon. We'll probably climb up a little bit closer to 70 before 6 o'clock. So you can see 69 here in Monticello, 71 in Tallahassee, so just on that line of the 70 range for most of us here in the Big Bend region. But tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week, you can see Sunday we have another front coming through that'll bring a lot of rain to the area. Monday it'll clear out, so that might be your best day for a lot of sun next week. Tuesday, it'll start climbing back up close to 70 for those temps, but then another front starts coming through on Wednesday. And if we get into Thursday, you can see those temps will start diving back down into the 50s overall, so it will be getting colder, so you might get that spring weather again instead of that hot Florida summer weather. But Jordan, what does it look like in Florida with all this rain going on?
Yeah, so across especially the northern part of the state, we did see a lot of rain. But if you look around, you can see a lot of those clouds have moved out. So you can see the blue sky here as those clouds start to move through in Orlando. And just all around the state, we're really seeing some pretty sunsets. just all across the board. Currently, we are seeing that, especially up here in the north, that those temperatures did cool down a good bit. So here in Tallahassee, we're at 64. And then if you go down south, it's a little bit warmer. Definitely warm down here in Key West, in Miami, right around 80. But looking forward, looking down to Miami, you can see that we're really not getting that cool down that we're going to be seeing up here in Tallahassee. So that cold front really is not affecting Miami. It is definitely staying warm. So in the lower to mid 80s just throughout this weekend. So it's going to be a really nice day to get out and enjoy Valentine's Day. And then Tampa, again, we're going to be seeing around those 80s, and then 85. It's going to warm up, and then it's going to cool down ever so slightly when we get that rain that comes through on Sunday. So again, your Valentine's Day is looking clear, but it might get a little bit rainy towards the end of the week. With Orlando, we're seeing it cool, and then it's going to be actually warming up throughout the weekend. So we start down here in the mid 70s, but then it's going to be warming up to 85, and again, seeing that chance of rain there on Sunday. And then Jacksonville, you can see we're kind of fluctuating a lot here. So 66, then 82, then 78. So it's a bit of a roller coaster, you know, seeing all those temperature fluctuations in Jacksonville. And then again, like we're seeing across most of the area, we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms in Jacksonville. And then once we go over towards the Panhandle, when we look at Pensacola, again, you can see kind of similar to what we saw here in Tallahassee. So that rain moved through, so it's going to be a little bit cooler on Friday, and then we warm up on Saturday, and then on Sunday, again, getting that same story with the rain and the cool off that we're definitely going to be seeing across the Panhandle in this region. If we look at our radar, you can see that there's just a little bit of pop-ups down here in this area. If you're looking in Miami, it's going to be really clear, but more towards the west coast, you're definitely going to be seeing a little bit more of those showers. And then as we move north to central Florida, you can see remnants, especially of that front that continues to move through. So again, just a few showers. In this area, you're going to see it a little bit more on the Atlantic side. And then once we get into North Florida, again, you can see all that precipitation that is moving through. To the areas west of Tallahassee, you can definitely see that it is clearing up. And then everywhere closer to the Atlantic, you still have that rain that's going to be coming to you for the rest of the night. And then just looking towards the future, we're going to be really clearing out for the rest of the weekend until we get to Sunday, when we're going to start seeing those chances of precipitation happening again. Tonight, especially across the Panhandle, we're going to be cooling down. And then heading into tomorrow, it's going to be pretty warm down here in the south, but then up in Tallahassee and Pensacola, a little bit cooler. But now we're going to look at what's happening with our neighbors across the southeast.
Thanks. So yeah, across the southeast, we're looking at some beautiful sunsets, mix of some sun and clouds before the sun goes down. Still have some cloudy skies in New Orleans, however, but look at these temperatures across the region. We got Charlotte and Richmond, Virginia, and New Orleans, all in the mid to upper 50s, and of course Tampa in its Florida fashion sitting in the upper 70s. So as we move into across the southeast, we do have a large temperature gradient as a cold front has just pushed through the area and is starting to set into the western parts of the southeast. We see in the 40s right now in Jackson, 49 in Jackson, 41 in Little Rock, 55 in Montgomery, and still a little more mild with some showers and thunderstorms across the Panhandle and North Florida as well. And we can even see this cold front starting to set in the southeast as we see those northern winds starting to set in Birmingham and Mobile, and some western winds coming from into Tallahassee right now, and those will continue to pick up as the evening moves forward, and we'll begin to see that cooler, drier air. And we even see this right here, those showers and storms that pushed through earlier have dissipated. Right now we're having some cloudy skies. Parts of the area still have some passing clouds in the area. We can expect those to begin to clear out and the temperatures begin to continue to drop as the evening moves forward into tomorrow. Going into our muggy cast, we can see the dew points begin to drop as the cold front moves through, but as we go through Saturday and Sunday, we can see an increase in those dew points coming back slightly into most of the southeast, maybe parts of North Carolina, still sitting pretty dry with dew points in the 30s, and marginal risk of severe weather this weekend for much of Florida and South Georgia, even southeastern parts of South Carolina. Same goes for our western parts of the southeast, sitting tomorrow at a 1 out of 5 risk of non-severe risk of severe weather. But the real talk here on Saturday is another possible
enhanced risks of severe weather going into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So there's definitely some severe weather to look out for your Valentine's Day weekend. And speaking of Valentine's Day weekend, if you plan to go to Charlotte for your Valentine's Day celebrations, hopefully they're indoors. Hopefully no outdoor picnics. Saturday and Sunday will not be your days to go. It will be cold and rainy, but tomorrow will definitely be your best shot. Going into Nashville, we will have sort of a roller coaster of temperatures, also a chance of showers and storms when that's severe weather as well. In Tampa, in its lovely Florida fashion, sitting in the low to upper 80s throughout the weekend. Chances of rain on Sunday. We will have some lows in the 50s though, starting your work week next week. Going into New Orleans, again, another roller coaster. Look at this, highs of 66 tomorrow, but then Saturday, cloudy and 81 and muggy. So lots of different roller coasters to go, but with definitely some sunshine to look forward to the end of your week into this coming week. But now we will move into the national. Lots of weather is happening, so tell us more, Priscilla.
Yes, thank you, Daniela. Definitely a lot going on throughout the entire nation. As we've seen today, we had some severe weather risks throughout the southeast and a lot of cold fronts and snowfall in the northeast, as well as an atmospheric river on the west coast. So definitely lots to be thinking about right now. For our dew points, we are sitting pretty dry right now with a very dry air mass roughly across the central U.S., as well as our little green thumb of Florida sticking out just a little bit, but we are going to be seeing a bit of a dry down throughout the next couple of days as these storms make their way outside of our region. And as you can see, this front that we had, it's pushing off just a little bit slowly off to the east coast. And as well, we've got all of these systems associated with an atmospheric river really dumping buckets and buckets of rain onto California, as well as snow in the upper northwest. And for those cold fronts that we had in the northeast as well, they're starting to dissipate with just a little bit of snowfall lingering behind. As for our alerts, we are staying pretty active right now. We've got lots of winter weather as well as some wind advisories and lots of flood alerts associated with that atmospheric river in California as well, with a big risk for mudslides, especially in the Sierra Nevadas. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And now if you look over here into the portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia, lots of flood alerts as well as these storms continue to dump buckets and buckets of rain onto the Midwest and Middle Atlantic states. But taking a look at rainfall totals, we're seeing really high amounts, roughly between 3 to 5 in the Sierras, as well as Kentucky and Tennessee, staying also in the 3 to 5, even reaching 5 to 7 range. So lots of rain still to come, so definitely keep that in mind and make sure to plan your weekend around that, because it is going to be a very active weekend. For snowfall totals, we're seeing a lot of snowfall concentrated in the Rockies, in those northern regions, and as well in the Sierras. We can see amounts up to probably about 5 to 8 inches, and as well, we're seeing lots of snowfall really ending in the northeast as well. But for your temperature outlook, it's been pretty hot. It's not very comfortable, especially for this time of year, but we're going to be seeing a big cool down in the East Coast with, for the next several days, really next couple of weeks, really returning back to that winter regimen that we really expected. But as well, there's also going to be a risk for likely above temperatures in the western portion of the country. Tonight, it's going to be pretty chilly, especially with all of those cool downs, and heading into tomorrow, it's going to be a lot more moderate than it has been the last couple of days, and even Florida is starting to cool down a little bit. But tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so Daniela, Oceana, do you guys have some fun facts for us?
We sure do. So Valentine's Day, of course, a day of love and happiness. And with that, there's a lot of fun facts and a lot of things for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know some of this. Americans spend an estimated $26 billion on Valentine's Day gifts last year. Does that surprise you?
In a way, yeah, but at the same time, no. That's actually crazy.
I know, it honestly shocked me, and the fact that there's 145 million Valentine's Day cards that are exchanged each year, that's pretty awesome.
At least we're spreading the love,
though. That people make. We are spreading the love.
Yeah.
You know what? I love this, actually.
I love it. It's very positive. And also another thing that's adorable and wonderful, nearly 250 million roses are grown in preparation for Valentine's Day. Definitely a great time to be a florist.
Oh, absolutely. I can only imagine. My favorite movie is Valentine's Day. Have you ever seen that one?
I haven't.
Oh, it's an amazing cast, and it's all about this flower shop, and it just reminds me that Valentine's Day is such a spring and happy holiday, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. Maybe it's something I need to watch tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Festive
It's
for
definitely one of my
Valentine's
favorite
Day.
movies ever. Well, to switch things off just a little bit from a girly subject into a more male field, we are going to talk about sports with Matthew.
Yes, it's everyone's favorite part of the Thursday broadcast. It's FSU weather sports for all of you. This is a down week because the All-Star break is starting, but this is the last day for some of those NBA games. So the Kings are playing at the Pelicans tonight. Fun fact, Markelle Fultz can make his debut for the Kings, so that could be a major boost for them and their hopes to get into the playoffs. But tonight, sitting in the mid-50s overall, very cloudy there in New Orleans. Houston, it's got to get into the upper 40s for the most part as they try to get a last-minute win versus the Golden State Warriors before that All-Star break starts. Oklahoma City at Minnesota, that could be a very big game, but look, these temps, very, very low, just around 0 for them. Very cold up there. You're going to want to bundle up if you're going to those games, as that should be a very good matchup among Western Conference giants. Miami Heat at Dallas. Unfortunately, Dallas really beat up, just lost another center. I don't know who they're going to field anymore, but can they get an elusive victory versus the Miami Heat? We will see, but those temperatures will be relatively stable. You're still going to want to bundle up, though, if you are going outside. The Clippers at the Jazz. Jazz losing 2 straight to the Lakers, but you can see it is still pouring out there in Utah, though. Lots of rain and very cold outside. All-Star break is this weekend, so we have the celebrity game Friday night. 50s for the most part. If you are going to that game, you're going to want to bundle up in San Francisco. And then the skills challenge with the dunk contest, 3-point contest. We're rooting for Cade Cunningham as well as my boy Mac McClung in the dunk contest. But you can see sitting in the 50s, getting cloudier as the night goes on. And the All-Star game Sunday night, my bad. It will start out raining, so you're probably going to want that umbrella rain jacket as you walk to the game. But as you come out of the game that night, it will be much cooler overall in the 50s for the most part. For those of you wondering where the NHL is, unfortunately, it's 4 nations right now, so everyone is on a break in the NHL. But it is still going to be very cold in a lot of these regions. But Ayana, with all this rain going on, is this going to influence my plans for the weekend?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really up to you on what you want to do, if you want to spend your weekend watching some sports like Matthew was just talking about, or if you want to spend some time here in Tallahassee. If you look in Panama City, it's looking at a beautiful sunset, so if you want to head over there, it would definitely be a great time to watch the sunset. And for the dog walk forecast, definitely wait until 60. My apologies. Until 11, because it's going to be nice 60 and it's going to be warmer than in the morning at 7 a.m. So definitely, if you want to walk your dog and you're a little bit chilly at 49, then maybe 60 would be better for you. And that beach cam, it's not looking too great. You can't really see the sunset, and it's a little bit colder to some people. 65 in Shell Point Beach, so definitely don't watch the sunset tonight, but maybe towards next week, you might be able to get a little bit of sun in. It's been a little bit cloudy today. And speaking of cloudy, maybe not the best night to stargaze tonight. You know, I think that it might be hard, and those viewing conditions are a little bit poor. And for those airport delays, we're not looking at anything here in Tallahassee for the most part, but we are looking at some delays down in Orlando. So just keep note of that. It might be a little bit backed up just due to those weather conditions, but keep note of what's going on with your flight if that is the case for you. And if we're looking at the rec, it is a nice 63. Again, really cloudy. You might see some showers in there, just mixed in a little bit. So definitely bring a jacket if you're going to go to the rec today. And then for the nightlife forecast, if you plan on going out, bring a jacket with you. It's going to be a little bit chilly, 61, and cooling. It's going to get a little bit colder throughout the rest of this week. So just due to those cold fronts, keep note of that if you plan on going out or maybe heading over to Madison Social. And throughout the rest of this week, like I was talking about, it's kind of getting up there a little bit in the weekend, but then it's going to cool off a little bit to 60 on Monday. But we're going to take things back over with Oceana, and we're going to take one last look at the local.
Thanks, Ayana. Yeah, unfortunately, our Doak camera is still pretty cloudy, but we do have some nice pinks pulling into the picture. Now, like Matthew said, rain has not gone away all day today, but finally it's starting to make its way out of our area. We're going to be left with a lot of cloud cover as we go throughout tonight, but it will clear up as we go into the overnight hours. Now for your current temperatures all across the board, we are 60s all across, 65 here in Tallahassee, 64 in Perry, 67 in Mariana, and 66 along the coast. But those dew points are really explaining how sticky it feels outside, and it has been pretty humid all week. Dew points are in the 60s, 61 here in Tallahassee, a little bit muggier in Apalachicola on the coast, so that makes sense. But for our temperature almanac, check it out. We are feeling a little cooler than we have been the past few days, where we've actually been nearing 80 degrees. Our high today was 74, but look at that low, -2 in 1899. I am so grateful we are not there. That is definitely historic for Tallahassee. Tonight, like I said, light rain early, so it will clear out as you get into 8, 9, 10 o'clock, but those temperatures will be dipping into the 40s, so be prepared, have a jacket. It will be chilly if you're going out, but again, that rain will go away eventually. For the rest of the area, 51 in St. Mark's, 46 in Thomasville, 46 in Quincy, 52 in Carabel. That rain is still sticking around, but again, that will be making its way out here shortly. Tomorrow, 71, mostly cloudy with not as much rain in our forecast tomorrow for your Valentine's Day. Winds out of the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour, so a slightly breezy day with your temperatures staying a little bit more mild than what we've been seeing in the 80s. For your day planner, for your Valentine's Day, noon will be 63 degrees. We'll only be topping out around 70, so if you like those cooler temperatures, tomorrow's going to be a really good day to get outside. 6 p.m. it'll be 67, and a really brisk morning as well. Tomorrow's forecast for the rest of the area will be topping out in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and that week ahead is kind of a roller coaster. Check out Sunday. That's when we have a 90% chance of rain. Highs in the 70s. That's another front making its way through. And look at these temperatures that will be leaving us with in the lows as our lows in the 30s and highs in the 60s. Now I'm going to pass things over to Jordan and Matthew to close out the show.
Yeah, I mean, that weather on Sunday, it might just ruin a lot of my Sunday plans, but luckily my game is indoors because it's basketball. But what about you, Jordan? Is it going to ruin your plans this weekend?
It might ruin them just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to spend time with my family in St. Augustine, so definitely going to be seeing that rain in Jacksonville. But you know what? It might be nice to spend a little bit of time indoors. It'll be nice to have the first few days to be outside.
Yeah, I think for me, the rain today was a very good boost because I was trying to study all day, so it didn't really give me any choice to go outside or try to procrastinate because I was, stuck indoors trying to study all of today, trying to, get everything out of the way for my test tomorrow and just being able to get to the weekend,
Yes, it was definitely nice to see that rain. I'm excited for the cool down that's going to come with it, especially not as much today, but especially on Sunday and Monday when we see those lows really dropping. I'm definitely excited for that cool weather.
Yeah, honestly, the 80s were just way too much up here. It's February. Bring me back those 60s and let's just chill with that for another month. But follow us on X at FSU Weather as well.
Then follow us like us on Facebook at FSU Weather.
Don't forget, we're also on Instagram at FSU Weather as well.
And then, of course, subscribe to us here on YouTube at FSU Weather.
Don't forget, we are also on TikTok, so look for us on TikTok if that's what you're looking for.
And then we're going to take another last look at our 7-day.